the Hangout on air is live, and this is a small group of us, and we've done the course together, Head Off Stress course, reading the book by Douglas Harding, and I think most people on the course are too shy to join us. So, we're the brave ones, and so I'm Richard, I'm in London, I run the course, I'm very happy to be empty for everybody here, headless. And why don't we just introduce ourselves? Katerina?
I'm in Holland now, and I enjoyed very much the Head of Stress course. It was so great to have all kinds of people having all their comments on reading and writing. That was wonderful, wonderful weeks.
Brilliant. We'll talk more about that. So, Elizabeth?
Hi. Yeah, just absolutely love the course. Love the interaction between people, and it's just been really good to look at stress in a new way, which has been very practical and very helpful.
Brilliant. Thank you. Tom?
Yes, I'm in Philadelphia, in the U.S., and I just find this book amazing. And I've gone through it a couple of times, and aside from the issue of stress, it just gives such insight, I think, into headlessness. And I'm just associating now. Sometimes we talk about the problem with reading rather than actually being headless. You know, there's a tendency to seek knowledge about it. But on the other hand, I find when I read Douglas's works, particularly this one, it's as if, you know, I'm almost with him in a certain way, and it does help me actually come from the headless place in the moment. So maybe that's an excuse because I enjoy reading it so much.
Well, wonderful. It's a pointer. It's yet another pointer back to who one is. I think you're saying, and I find that too. Yes. Marvelous. So, any further thoughts? I've got thoughts, but about reading the book, about the course, about Katerina, you were saying how much you were enjoying different people's points of view as you were reading through the course. Any other thoughts on that?
Yes, it's so wonderful when you read a book like that on your own. It's already an adventure because of the language of Douglas is so rich and powerful. But every week to pick the chapters that you have to comment on, and then go and sit and write about it, and then later on the others of your group are commenting on what you have written, and that's so rich. And on the other hand, reading what the others have written about it, that's so making it more rich than it even was. All the other viewpoints, and to do that together, it's for me it was like having being with a family.
Yes. Yes. I mean, just to very briefly explain, we read Head Off Stress over 8 or 9 weeks, and so we had a number of chapters each week to read, and about 60 people on the course. And everyone was divided up into little groups of about 6 blog groups, and that's what you're talking about. So you read the chapters, and then you write a few sentences about your reflections on what you've read, and then you read what others in your blog group have read. Yes.
So I was saying that the process of being able to read a chapter, to have my own ideas or responses to then read what other people had said, deepened my understanding.
So the other thing that I was thinking of there was how Douglas does not claim that seeing who you really are prevent, gets rid of stress, but it places it. And in fact, it is it's a realistic assessment of the nature of the world, isn't it? It's stressful. It's full of problems. But seen from this open space. Sorry, Elizabeth, go on.
No, I was just going to say the fact that he's so, so acknowledges and reaffirms the fact that there is stress and there is suffering, and that is an
Okay, so any other reflections? I think we got that one. Any other reflections?
I just find the book extremely helpful for my personal situation, which is being older, moving from a career to, to hopefully to what Douglas points to devoting my energy and time to this goal of coming from who I really am. And it gives, there's a part of me that, the human side, feels a little bit guilty about that because it's not a useful, from the usual human perspective, it's not a useful activity. But he makes, he highlights very nicely how, it's the ultimate activity.
Yes.
And so it keeps me going in that way. There's wonderful sections on adulthood and age, so on.
Yes, I resonated with that myself, Tom, and yeah.
Yes.
And also all he has to say about death as well.
Yeah.
Which is just so, it's all just so helpful. I mean, it's something that you can relate to your own life. That's the thing. It's not like a philosophical book that's, you can't access it easily. It's the fact that you can, and you can relate it to your own life in whatever situation.
Mm. Very practical.
Very. But it's also coming back to that oneness, that who you really are, that stepping back and seeing a bigger picture, which is if you're in a stressful situation and you can allow yourself to step back from it and see it from a deeper part of yourself, then yes, it does help.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But with this, I do feel a kind of duality between that part of me which can see this and the human me, or what Douglas calls the human me. And I was just looking at that section on the Holy Grail, where I think he talks about, who is the Grail for? It's for the Grail King. And there's a statement there for, the human you is not going to get it, kind of.
Yes.
So making that fit with the idea that the duality is an illusion is a little bit tricky, but it makes perfect sense to me, because I know that the human, to use that term, is not going to get it, and that it's almost another part, and I go back and forth between these two parts.
Yes.
Unfortunately, spending most of my time in the human part.
But as you were saying, you're at a time of your life, like me, where you have probably more time to devote to this, and at least it is something that you want to do, is to nourish being aware of who you really are, and yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I personally sort of live an extraordinarily busy life for all sorts of reasons, and I find that this trying to bring this into the heart of every day is invaluable.
Yes.
So much as I would like to devote more time to reading and thinking about it, I find that that to actually try and make it a conscious aim of each day is actually, it puts more meaning into what I do on a daily basis.
Yes. Yes, this is for being aware in the midst of your life, isn't it? It's not having to take time out.
Also, life
also,
gives you all kinds of practice.
Go on, Katerina. What do you mean?
Well, what I encounter in my life is sometimes something I like, and sometimes I don't like. But in both ways, it's challenging me to stay where I'm headless.
Yes.
So it's always a challenge in the normal day-to-day life.
Yes. And being together now, one can be headless while we're together now.
Yes.
And one has four faces within one.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
It's not something we do, we now have to go away and practice on our own and build up. It's something that we are enjoying together now. My face is out there on the screen along with yours, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And here is this open space. Yeah, I mean, isn't that, I just find it such a relief to see Richard is out there in the crowd and not here at centre,
Yes.
Yes.
I find it a relief too.
Yes. Because, I mean, to sort that one out, or to make that one halfway perfect is, you never do it. And the older you get, the more obvious that becomes.
Yeah. I'm very happy to change faces.
Yes. Well, say more. What do you mean?
I mean, now I have your face because you're in the big screen for me.
Yes.
And I really like that.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah. And my face is just in the small photographs, and it's also in me.
Yes. You must be the big one. Elizabeth, what were you going to say?
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I'm hearing what Katerina said about the big, like seeing you in a big picture and seeing herself as a little picture. It's about seeing the bigger picture of which we are all a part.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. Is that it reminds me that I am just a small part in this huge, amazing mystery of life.
And at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, we're all playing our part, and we're all part of a bigger picture, and yet the part that we play is utterly unique and contributes to the whole. That's what I love.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel not so important, but as important, all at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Katerina, what were you going to say there?
Well, I'm like Elizabeth said, I'm a part of the whole, but also the whole is coming out of me, out of my space. The whole is there, and I created it for I don't know why and how, but it's there.
Yes, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the two things at the same time for me.
Yes.
the small and the big one.
Yes.
Hmm.
I think pretty much the same thing that Katharina was saying, that at the same time there's this paradox that it's all coming from here, and in a certain way it's all, that's what I am, the whole scene, or the container of everything.
Isn't that good news?
Yes.
It's strange news.
Strange news, yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm.
I've had the experience of sometimes watching a movie recently where I see this reality on a screen, or it's the same thing with a computer, and we're sort of designed that we're drawn into that, and it's as if we were there watching it. But then when you step back, it's a two-dimensional screen, and it's like a reality within the bigger reality. That's the bigger screen.
Hmm.
Yes.
Oh, good way of putting it.
Oh, you're back. You disappear into the great void.
It's like
and
life,
then you
really.
reemerge.
I know. I know. Yes. I feel that's what I do on a daily basis, though. I'm sort of headless, then I'm not headless, then I'm headless, then I'm not headless.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels to be human.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming back to the book, one of the things that I really loved was the way that Douglas used all these metaphors.
The myths and fairy stories and that kind of thing, you mean?
And he spoke about Jesus, and he came at it from all these different angles.
Yes. It's rich, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
I was struck by the idea of being enchanted and being under a spell and being hypnotized, and in a dream. As you grow up, you enter this dream of being a person, and obviously we all know that's important and necessary to do that. But then, when you see who you are, you don't gradually come out of the dream. You don't gradually turn the frog into a prince. The frog turns into a prince or a princess with a kiss. It's sudden, immediate, which is how it is. That's what seeing is like. You suddenly look and you're no longer enchanted. But as you say, a minute later, you're back in the middle of the dark wood.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the way it is. That's life. Because otherwise we cannot learn.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yes. I mean, what an amazing experience, this rhythm between remembering and forgetting. I mean, I suppose you could argue that it would be much better to wake up and forever be awake, whatever that means, because, I mean, when you see you've no head, you realize you've never had a head and you never will. I mean, there it is. You don't really get your head back on. But there's this kind of experience of remembering and forgetting, which I've come to accept is a brilliant invention, really. Like you say, Katrina, one of the things is you learn through it.
Yeah. We don't want that, but it's necessary, I suppose.
Or as Douglas points out in the book early on, the 3 levels of what you want, what you consciously want, what you unconsciously want, which is sort of what happens to you personally, and then what you really, really want, which is what arrives in the space, you know, from the stars to your eyelash. You know, this is you know, it's a kind of, okay, I'm going to accept this is what I really, really, really want. I don't understand why, including that rhythm. I don't understand how. But here it is.
Yes.
I loved what he said about choice. All he spoke about choice, about, you know, you have to make a decision, you look at the pros and cons, you make a decision, and then the universe says no. and it's just actually allowing life to move through you,
Yes.
because it does take the stress out of living when you know that there is something just bigger at work. It just, you know, it dissolves those boundaries, and I really love that idea of choice, no choice. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would any of you say that, I mean, or in what way you have grown during the course? I mean, you may not be able to tell, but from the beginning to the end, you know, anything that you feel has shifted in you personally?
For me, it's about remembering. For me, it's practice, 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 and it's about remembering that bigger space. So to do the course has been helped me to regularly remember, which means I've regularly practiced, which means that my life experience is deepened through it.
Right.
And for me, mainly it was the joy of recognizing what Douglas is writing, and the joy of sharing this with others. So a deep, deep, deep joy, and coming home.
Yes.
That's really moving.
Yes.
Yes.
There really is something special about sharing it, isn't there?
Yeah.
All right, you've got it on your own, but to hang out with people who are interested, more than interested, deeply interested in this, and to, you know, it's a real, deeply real, mysterious thing that we found here, and to have friends who are aware of it and living from it, but expressing it in their own way. But to spend time with them, like now, I mean, just marvelous.
I think also if you are if you're interested in this sort of thing, to be able to connect with other people who are equally interested, to me it's just such a relief, really. Because even though I've been interested in finding out who I really am for as long as I can remember, much of that journey has been quite lonely, really. Because you talk about this stuff to the people who are still completely enchanted, and they don't know what on earth you're on about.
No.
So to be able to talk to people who wake up occasionally or are fully awake or whatever is, immensely comforting, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
It is, especially since one can, or at least I have the experience, because this seems so foreign to most of the people I associate with, that I question, well, who's the one who's a little bit strange, or who's missing?
You're them.
Me. Right. So it is very comforting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm a twin, but I have that experience of being joined with someone else in a certain degree, you know, a closeness to my twin brother. And then I had the idea of Siamese twins who might be joined at the hip. And so you're joined, you've got different mind and so on, but you're joined, and so there's something you know together that is just there. It is. It's a fact. And with seeing, we're joined not at the hip, but in the center. You know, we're joined, and we know we know that. That's just unspeakable and non-verbal and given and a fact. But we're all kind of, just as if you're joined at the hip, you've got separate hands, and heads. We've got separate lives, separate bodies. But the fact that we are aware, if you were a Siamese twin and you weren't aware that you were joined, it'd be, suddenly you realize you're joined. Wow. Well, we're realizing we're joined.
Yes.
And yet we're different, but we've got that in common, and we're saying, oh gosh, yes. I mean, no question. I mean, there's no question that we understand what we're on about here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's like seeing life through our own individual coloured lens, but together that combined colour is just awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's nicely put. Yes.
I mean, I would recommend your courses, Richard, to anybody, because I found doing the hierarchy course before this one and this one, it's a fantastic experience, and it feels a real privilege to be involved, and I would urge you to do another one, and urge even more than 60 people to be involved.
Yes, I think the thing that's made a difference since we did the previous course on the hierarchy of heaven and earth is the video hangouts. And
yes,
some people have really joined regularly the video hangouts and got to know each other. And that, to me, is, as we're doing now, is part of the value of the course, is you get to meet others, other parts of yourself, other aspects of the one. And it's a wonderful thing. So when we do another course, that'll be there, the opportunity to do video hangouts together if people want to. Yeah, so we'll do something else.
Good.
Great.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we close? We're going to put the whole course finally back in the void, and all the people back in the void, and we know where they all are.
Yeah. And then something new is created.
Yes. Isn't that brilliant?
Yes.
Yeah. Out of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's about not holding on to things, just allowing it to flow through as well, which I found a really valuable lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That which changes and that which does not change. Where we're joined and the whole is always present, but what changes, what's in it, is bubbling away.
Yeah.
Well, lovely to hang out with you. Any final thoughts before we all dive into the great void?
Yes, it was wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining me, and see you again in the great void soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.